You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Yeah, good evening everybody, and welcome to the KTPF community. Community?
You hear us, we hear you.
Talk show. It jumped. That didn't work, did it? I thought that would be good using that, but never mind. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the community KTPF Community Talk Show. For those of you who's joining us for the first time, we are a not-for-profit organisation, non-profit, and we're here to bring you... Stop laughing, John. We're here to bring you all the news and gossip and some discussions and everything from around the paranormal, cryptozoology world that's out there, the weird and wonderful world of strange mysteries and such. So welcome to the show. And tonight we have a young man coming on. He's been on before. He was part of a group called Northern Ghost Investigations. Came on early part when we first started back in the day. And he's coming back on tonight. He's going to be talking about his UFO research. That's Glen Richardson, based in Hartlepool. He will be telling us all about what he's been up to and basically what he's found out during his research. We have with us in the hub Mr. Neil Munnerley, and he will be doing an open forum this evening. Won't you, Neil?
That's what we decided on.
That's what we decided on. So you can talk about anything and everything you want to talk about concerning mediumship, ghosts.
I'll beat Lee to it. Can you tell me about the Nile crocodile, please?
Well, I was going to say no crocodiles. No crocodiles.
He just put crocodiles.
No crocodiles. No monkeys. Nothing like that at all. So yes. So if you want to talk to us tonight, God, I confused myself then. I saw the second hand. I thought it was 25 to 9. But yeah, we've got Glenn ringing up about 25 past 8 to talk to us. And so before we start, Steve, who's in the chat room tonight?
At the moment, we have Doc all the way from Minnesota. We have Mr. Greenlee, which means Debs won't be far behind. She's not there at the moment.
As usual.
Mr. Sharlek. And Nigel. Yeah, Recce Debs has just come in. Good evening, Debs.
Good evening, Debs. So I'm sure Helen's there somewhere. So is that it? We've got 10 viewers.
That's it at the moment. We might have 10, but we haven't got 10 people in the chat room.
Right, I'm going to take this out of here for now, to be honest with you, so I can turn around a bit and relax. So hopefully you can see us all right, as I say. And here's Neil. Steve's over there. Yeah. Steve's going to be doing the paranormal news in a bit.
Doesn't Neil look nice though? All suited and booted.
Definitely. Yeah, he's coming here suited and booted, haven't you, Neil?
I've just been to work.
Took the afternoon off. It didn't go as planned.
Yeah, very dapper, says Lee.
It was unplanned.
Very unplanned, but turned up and says, I'm at a loss. I'm coming over. I'm not going all the way to Liverpool and back again. Didn't you?
I did. Well, I was in the Manchester area this morning, and I thought, well, why go back to Liverpool to come back to Manchester tonight? So.
Well, this is it.
So we decided I thought I'd come and crash at your house and have tea, and there we go.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to turn your mic up a little bit, and Steve, so make sure everyone can hear us okay.
Oh, Doc says you're looking posh tonight.
Looking posh. So what have you been up to, Neil?
What, apart from working?
Apart from working, yes. Apart from working.
Well, just the usual Easter jibe with the kids, you know. And
yes.
Easter busy, to be honest.
Easter egg hunt?
No, I wouldn't say hunt.
No.
They
just gave it to them.
No,
they knew where they were, did they?
All right.
They just give me it now, Dad.
Give me it now, Dad. I don't know.
So they would have had a bit of a shock if you said you got to work for it, go find them in the house somewhere.
Yes, they would.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's just easier for me. Yeah.
So,
mind you, I think Ethan would have enjoyed that actually.
Ethan probably would have had half the garden dug up.
So, well, we've I'll be honest with you, we have got a bit of a change tonight on some of the things that we've been mentioning when it comes to the Paranormal Events, haven't we, Steve?
We have, but Helen's just popped in.
Yes, I saw that.
And my commiserations to yourself and Marjorie having to cancel your evening.
Well, it wasn't cancelled, it was postponed.
Well, that means it's not on tonight, doesn't it?
No,
which means
there's
it's
a difference between cancelled and postponed.
It's cancelled for the evening.
Yes. So basically, something happened and they've had to change the date.
You say it's delayed.
That's the word, delayed.
Oh,
their loss is our gain.
Oh, Helen says, "Oh, someone's posh tonight."
Yes, their loss is our gain. So it's nice to see you on here. And the other cancellation or delayed. Well, it wasn't delayed.
This one has been cancelled.
Yes,
due to them.
Yes, the location, they changed the date on us for the beginning of April to the 20th of April, and they've gone and done it again. So I said, okay, don't bother. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm not messing about. Don't think I should. And because they changed it, we lost quite a few bookings anyway. Mm-hmm. We did. We had quite a few people ringing up saying they wanted the 6th rather. And I said, I'm sorry that it's been changed. And they couldn't do it. One of them was from America. Funny enough, they wanted their friends to invest before they went back home. So it was quite awesome. So I had to.
That was 6 people. That one. Would have been nice.
You know. So unfortunately,
that with what we already had would have more than paid for it.
Oh yes, definitely. So
never mind.
These things happen. So. But then again, we've had other good news happening. We have.
Evening, Joe.
Evening, Joe. I've had a conversation with a young lady from America, and if this goes through, it should be very, very good. It was quite funny actually because let me just tell you a brief story. I was listening back to the Ben Hansen show, and I'd missed something. I don't know why. Well, it was me. I wasn't quick enough when he was talking about his new business about the thermal imaging stuff, and I should have said then, well, if you want us to try any out, you know what I mean, send it over, you know. So I did it over a message, and I actually said to him, no, to be truthful, if we found somebody who could sponsor us, it would be great, you know, just waffling away like you do. And within a week I get an email from somebody who's a friend of Ben's, and she wants to advertise on the radio her new business, which has got nothing to do with paranormal, I must admit, and she's prepared to pay us to do that and be our sponsor, which, if it goes ahead, is quite good, isn't it? So watch this space. So I could have somebody paying for my server. You know what I mean? Which will help us, because as I say, we are a non-profit group. So yeah, so that sounds good, doesn't it?
It is,
yeah. And we've got the recording coming up soon for the documentary.
Yes, we have.
Yes. We've started the documentary recording. We're going to do some more Sunday. We were supposed to be doing it at the Masonic Hall on the 20th of April for the main invest, but it's now going to be done on the 11th of May at the Rotunda in Liverpool. They've very graciously given us their building for the night to do this. And if anyone wants to join us, it is a public event, but we can do with people joining us on that night if they're interested, and that could be part of the documentary as well. So if you're interested, just go to our site, UK Shadow Seekers, and find out more. So that would be good, wouldn't it?
It should be good night.
It should be. So, and not only that, the money that we pay to the location, they need it more than the Masonic Hall, I'll be honest with you. So, don't they?
It's one of my favourite places.
So tonight you're going to be talking. You've got an open forum tonight again.
Yeah, I'm going to do an open forum. So think of some questions, guys.
Yeah, everyone seems to
and keep it clean.
Enjoy that. Yes, everyone seems to enjoy the open forum.
Charlotte just said that Helen got the word rotunda at the portal. It must have been a sign.
Must have been. Ooh. So starting to get creepy now. Come on, isn't it?
Oh, these things are coming together, aren't they?
Yeah. So. Well, we've got just under 15 minutes, and what we're going to do is we're going to hand over to Steve, and he's going to take you through.
I've been given the duties of Now here's the news.
Right, well,
Trevor McDonald.
Trevor McDonald. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and play this little spookiness while you're reading.
I'm going to play a spookiness. Ooh.
So we'll see you with this.
Well, I probably won't breathe because Sue will tell me off because she keeps saying that's what the full stop's for. Here we go.
Let me know if it's too loud.
I will tell you. I've got my ears in here. No, that's not too bad. Not too bad. This is from the Telegraph reporters. Young lady called Terry Lee Cox, 17, says she saw something hunched over and bounding around on all fours from a bedroom window in Dorchester, Dorset, and took a photograph of it on her phone. The teenager said that the park's visitor, which she insisted was not a dog or a cat, then ran up a tree out of sight. Sean Bassett, her boyfriend, went out to investigate but found no sign of the monkey-like creature. The park is about 10 miles from Monkey World attraction in Wool. Miss Cox, who is studying health and social care at college, said the creature looked about on all fours like a small gorilla. It was walking like one as well and using its arms and feet. She added, "It's definitely a monkey because you could tell by its hunched back and the way it scampered across the field and up the tree. It was not a black dog. I have no idea what the monkey was doing there. It could have escaped if someone was keeping it as a pet."
So it's been debunked, has it?
No, they still haven't found it. There is a picture of it on there somewhere as well.
Right, okay.
It's not definitive, to be honest.
Right, okay.
No, it's not definitive. Right, we're off to
can I just say that Simply Joe said those peeping toms are getting nimble and hairy.
They are indeed. They are indeed. And
I'm going to have to stop doing it. You know.
I know.
Yeah, stop putting that camouflage suit on.
No, it's astral travel. I'm going to get a slap again, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Right, we're off to America now. Right,
it's a small world after all. Oh, sorry, wrong show.
It was once a place of pain, death, and since turned into a popular tourist attraction. Now the owners of the Waverly Hills Sanitarium have even bigger plans for the Paranormal Palace. It was built in the 1900s at a tuberculosis hospital, but since Waverly Hills closed in the 60s, it's been known as the Haunted Hospital. Owners Charlie and Tina Mattingly regularly conduct ghost tours. The whole vibe, bring it in. That's a weird way of putting that. I just got the chills the whole time, said the high school student Ryan Dude, who once took a tour. Now the Mattingleys have applied for a zoning change, believe it or not. They're about to develop Waverly Hills into a hotel and convention centre.
Oh, have you heard about this one, John, in Minnesota?
Oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Oh my God.
And they've also applied for a liquor license as well. So
the Waverly Hotel.
It's going to become the Waverly Hotel instead of the Waverly Hills Sanitarium.
Oh no, they can't do that.
And selling spirits as well.
And selling spirits as well. I mean the locals are kind of up for it because it's at the moment it's derelict. So
is that your last one?
No, it's not the last one.
Okay.
I have one more.
Go on then.
So they're kind of up for that.
I must admit, I don't know. What do you think to that, John? Should they be doing that? God, they are not smart. I have a lot of moral issues with them.
Well, there's also a golf course close by, so it's bringing. If it was a hotel, it would bring business in, and probably more visitors. But then you'll be paying to actually sleep in a ghost haunted hotel room.
Okay.
And get woke up by somebody screaming in your ear in the middle of the night.
That's just people with hangovers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're coming back to England now.
Go on then.
Katie Price.
Jordan?
Otherwise known as Le Jourdain.
Le Jourdain. Jordan.
She had an unwelcome house guest.
Again?
Yes, again.
She's had quite a few in the last couple of years.
And his name's not Alex.
Okay.
And it's not our ex Leandro Penna either.
Right.
He was contacted by a psychic after hearing weird noises in her home in Horsham, West Sussex, and she's been told that it's haunted by a 16th century knight.
Oh.
Friends revealed for the last month or so, Kate's been hearing strange noises, seeing lights go on and off, and the TV change channel.
Well, she should stop having the parties.
Everyone thinks she's imagining it, so she phoned a psychic who told her house was haunted and built on the site of the time when Henry VIII had a big, apparently there was a battle there at some point. Let me separate these two pages for the last little bit there. The psychic claimed to have reached the knight who died in the battle after having his heart broken by a local girl. And it's spooking poor Kate.
So poor Kate's being spooked again.
She is
I
indeed.
think it's just publicity stunt. I mean, she's been out of the newspapers
Yeah.
for a long time.
Well, apparently her last home was haunted as well.
Well, no.
Well, this is it. So,
I know a few people that would like to haunt her.
But I must admit,
Well, I
though,
wouldn't roll over her.
God, I've got a bit of a thread.
Only if I was driving a
I
4x4.
think that'd be an impossibility.
You'd need a 4x4, wouldn't you?
I want to ask you a question before we go to our guest,
Okay.
mate.
Good.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about a possible investigation place
Yeah.
that we were thinking about contacting, and we found a forum that was going on about. Now, there's been disasters at this place, and like they say, the people's family is still alive, and they don't feel as though it's right, and this, that, and the other. What's your feelings to it? Do you think it's not right? Do you think it's in poor taste? What do you think?
You mean they are doing investigations there?
Oh, they're doing investigations there, but
they're doing investigations there to make money because they need
Yeah.
the place to stay open. That's the first thing. I can't see what bad taste there is unless you sat there and you're raising the dead.
yeah,
You know, there's a difference. You know,
Yeah.
we go along and we contact the people who've passed on, and we
yeah.
talk to them of their own free will. You know, we don't make them come through. We don't
No.
make them do anything.
If they're already there,
Yeah.
If they're already there,
Yeah,
then
'cause-
we speak to them. We
Yeah.
contact them, and
Well, they're not actually calling by name these people that have died, are they? They're
well,
just
there's
trying
that
to.
as well.
They're just
Yeah.
trying to see who is still there.
yeah, this is it.
Exactly.
You know, but
Yeah.
then we did a one in Tameside, and a woman came, didn't she, to the investigation because she knew they were closing it down. They didn't know what they were doing with it, and she got a bit worried. And every time something happened there, it was always put down to a relative. Yeah, and basically she needed some sort of confirmation. Now, I'm just wondering what these people must be thinking if their relatives are still. Look at Hightown Hall.
Well,
We have got relatives still there.
Yeah. Well, the lady that you were talking about actually came with us, and she did say if we do come across a relative, can we send him on?
Send him on. Yeah.
And,
I don't think he is, though. I must admit.
I think I would say he still visits, but
Yeah.
he was quite happy to
Yeah.
no longer be grounded.
But as I say, take Hightown Hall for instance. I've not come across it, to be honest with you. Whether it's a case of our team don't want to come across that much, but other groups have turned around and said that there has been remnants of the incident that happened back in the mid-60s.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are parents that are still around, or rather family members that are still around at the time in Hyde and still now. How must they feel about us paranormal groups going in and disturbing them, I suppose? But perhaps they think we're bringing them back to that horrific time, or do you think that could be what they're thinking?
Well, obviously somebody's sort of put that into their view, haven't they? And they've thought, am I whispering?
No, you're just not holding it up enough.
And I just think that, you get so many people out there who are against what we do anyway.
Oh,
And it's these small groups of people that raise these issues.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, we're not doing anything bad. We're not conjuring people out of the graves. We're not picking up these guys and saying, right, oh, he died 20 years ago. Let's conjure him up and get him on the Ouija board and let's leave him there walking around. I think a lot of these people sort of put us in the classification of almost witchcraft, I think.
Yeah.
So
Now, Simply Joe says she feels as though that's BS. I really got annoyed. I get annoyed when when I went there. I got annoyed when I went there with another group and that story came through. I don't know what she thinks is BS, what I just said or what they were saying.
What they were saying about
because I'll be honest with you, the reason why I know for a fact that the reason why the prices have gone up is because there was a certain group that went in there and plagiarised it so much that it was all in the local paper, and they were hoping that by raising the price it would deter us. Us meaning the paranormal groups, but it didn't. It basically was okay for the companies, and obviously it deterred some of the smaller people, so but that's basically, I heard that from the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I think a lot of the time you get this sort of moaning, so to speak, because people don't understand what we do.
Yeah.
They just in some cases they're religious groups who just out and out don't believe, but they don't understand what we do or what we try and do, and they think that we're going in there saying, "Ronald died here, come and talk to us, Ronald."
They think we're some kind of a cult group, who go in and raise the dead out of the grave, and destroy, sacred ground or whatever, and it's just what they've seen on films. And
I must admit, there was a place in Liverpool. We've not done it yet. It was one that we was considering doing recently. Yeah. When we went to see him, because we were going to do the live show there that we ended up doing in Morecambe Winter Gardens, he actually said to me, "What is it you'll be actually doing? Because I've seen To the Devil a Daughter. I've seen Dennis Wheatley films, It's mad. It is mad. They do get this perception.
I actually felt like saying, "Yep, we're going to be doing all that."
I brought my candles with me.
Right, I've got, before you get on to our guests who you've been ringing, I've got a quick question here for Neil. Charlotte said, "Do you think that spirits occupying a space from different time periods get on with each other?" I mean, I personally would think that a lot of them are actually on different levels, and they might not even know whether the levels are there.
I mean, we look at spirits as being at different time periods. We look at spirits as being on a certain plane, but they're not actually on planes. They're not higher than the other. It doesn't work that way. What it is it works on a time difference. So each level is basically a minute fraction of a second behind the other, so it's slightly slower. So in most cases, one spirit from one time period wouldn't actually bump into another spirit from another time period, although we would pick that up. It would happen at different instances.
We would pick them both being
and
there.
That's why a lot of the times when you go and do a haunted place, one medium might pick up one thing, and another medium might pick up another thing, because they're just picking up on different levels. Yeah. So usually they don't sort of bump into each other. And if that was the case, if they did occupy the two spaces, they wouldn't really notice each other anyway, because they're slightly fraction out of time. So they'd probably just walk through each other.
Well,
that leads to another question. If they're walking through each other, do they actually feel it? Like we do when something goes through?
That's a good question. I'll have to ask them about that one.
I mean, when a spirit walks through us, we feel it.
Well, of course we do. We've sensed that.
Usually we get cold or something, but would they feel the same?
I would say they would.
Yeah.
Because they're
what does Big Red say?
I haven't spoken to him.
Well, Charlotte said that makes a lot of sense, Neil. Opened up a whole can of worms now.
Yes, we have, and that's the whole.
We can go back to that later.
Whole purpose of this.
Yeah, we can come back later.
We open cans of worms for the simple reason is that
like Chris said, it does. We can blame Most Haunted for most of the worries and what have you that come on. I must admit, I have watched the lives and thought to myself, of late,
especially the late,
when they started conjuring up
the later seasons when they bring the devil through and all the rest of it.
And I actually thought to myself, well, hang up a minute, you're relaying this to us live. Can they actually bring stuff into the house? Because I know they're doing it there, but we're hearing it. Sort of thing, and it's the proper stuff. It's not what you see on the films. It's not just playing our father backwards or something.
I think it was when we was on City Talk and they had Fred Bat. We actually asked him, didn't we? And he actually said no.
Yeah.
It only happens here.
Yeah. What do you
where
think,
we are
Neil?
not, but
Right. To conjure something up, you've got to have the ability to conjure something up anyway.
Right. Okay.
And it doesn't matter, all these silly prayers like singing or speaking the Lord's Prayer backwards in the mirror and all that rubbish. It's rubbish, absolute rubbish. And it's stuff that you see on the television, and it's stuff again that's been brought up.
So that's not going to happen in the house.
Most haunted,
Yeah.
Of course, it's not going to happen in the house.
No.
Unless that person in that house has the ability to conjure something up of his own free will. Now, that's not going to happen.
The reason why I'm going back to is the fact that years and years ago. Oh, sorry, he's on the line. Hang up.
We'll have to go.
Hang up. Yeah.
And then come back to it.
Yeah, come back to it.
Call me again.
We've got an open forum.
Yeah, we're going to go back to that. It's because I thought it would have vibrated in my hand. That was the trouble.
And it didn't.
So try again, please, if you're there. Ah, there he goes. Are you trying again? Well, wait. If you're hearing me, Glenn, if that's you, can you try again, please? I held it because I thought it would vibrate. Aha, here we go. Sorry about that, Glenn. I had it on silent, thinking it would vibrate, and it didn't. And then all of a sudden, I saw it flashing at me. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you? Thank you for coming back on the show.
No problem.
Now, just to remind everyone, you was on when not long after we started doing the KTPF, wasn't you? And you you were part of a group called Northern Ghost Investigations?
It was Northern Investigations Ghost Hunting Team.
That's correct. You're not with them now?
Well, to be honest with you, I broke away from them myself because it was a group I started. I think, if I'm totally honest with you, the main topic is UFOs. So part of the team members are doing stuff on their own, but UFOs is where that's my main priority.
Right, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we've got Glenn on the line here, and we'll be talking this first segment about UFOs and his research. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Nigel will. But if anyone has any questions, and please remember to pop them into the chat room, or even give us a call on Skype. You can do that as well. Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
So
we've been asked, didn't he used to work with BPI?
We've been asked, did you used to work with BPI?
I did, yes.
Or SPI Joe?
No, not Joe. Just SPI.
BPI, yes, I did, yes.
Right, yes, he did. Okay. Simply Joe says she remembers you, I think. So.
All right.
But anyway, so what have you been up to then since you left the group?
Like I said, I've been focusing on my studies with UFOs at the present. I've been really busy. I advertise on websites and magazines, and at the minute I'm in the process of getting my own website up in place. And really just focusing on UFO phenomena.
Right. Okay. So what have you? What got you into this to start off with? How did you get into it?
Well, I've always been interested in UFO phenomena. I've always had beliefs that maybe there is something out there that is beyond ourselves. But the main reason I got into this is when I was younger, my father, who was a total skeptic, didn't believe in nothing, said he witnessed something early hours of the morning. It was about 3-4 o'clock. He heard it knock like it was a Hoover. For some reason he thought it was my mother hoovering up, so he came downstairs. There's nobody there. And the big, bright, yellow-orange light outside. Now, he didn't witness any craft or nothing like that. It was just the bright light and the noise. But he's a total skeptic, and and when someone like that sort of comes forward and says, well, yeah, there was this, it makes you think. And that was one of the reasons why I ended up reading other stories, magazines, files and things. And then I came across other people who sort of investigated other people's reports. And that's what made me get into it, really.
Right. I'm being asked if you know Malcolm Robinson because you sound a bit Scottish, or a Geordie maybe. You're in Hartlepool, aren't you?
I'm in Hartlepool, so I'm close to Newcastle, not that far, but half an hour. But unfortunately, no, I don't know.
So, Joe said that she met him at Busby Snoop.
Yeah, Simply Joe says she met you at Busby Stoop.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Busby
So,
Stoop,
yeah.
Busby Stoop, yes.
So
Been there
that's
many
how,
times.
yeah, so that's how she knows you. So what have you found then? What have you found during your research? Where have you been and what you found?
Well, I've been all over the UK, really. Anywhere, you know. When you say find, it's a hard thing to say find, because obviously 9 out of 10 reports easy explained. It could be anything from balloon, Chinese lanterns, anything. Now, obviously there's that 1% that, you know, can't be explained, but doesn't mean it can't be. Doesn't mean it. But obviously, as the explanation is, it's still a UFO. It's unidentified unless it's identified of some sort. So through the years, I've been collecting a lot of data. People have been getting in touch with me with their sightings, and just basically following the investigation, getting as much information from the witnesses as possible, and then just sort of start the investigation now.
All right. So we've heard of people in the past that have been on the show that talk about all these sort of things, and the government and their views of it, or rather their non-views of it. You know, and sometimes we get people who say they've been. We've even heard recently of somebody who was actually what sounded like abducted. I don't know what your views on that is.
What was that, sorry?
We've heard about views on people that talk about abductions.
Oh, abductions, yes.
Yeah, I don't know what your theory on that is. Have you had any people come up to you and say this to you?
Yeah, I've had a few abduction cases come forward, and I do approach it in a different way that I would just a basic sighting, because obviously the witnesses are coming forward to you, they're embarrassed in case they don't know who to talk to, the ridicule that they might get from it. But basically, a lot of people, some of the cases that I've worked alongside, a lot of the time they don't know if that's the answer. They don't know if that's what's happened. They're getting these little visions, and they sort of come to me for help, and maybe get in touch with a hypnotist and try and regression and that type of thing. But very rarely someone just comes up to me and says, "Oh, I've been abducted. Can you help me?" A lot of the time, they don't know what's going on, so they don't know if it is dreams or could it be.
Okay.
But it's just hard, because obviously they're very vulnerable as well. You know, because obviously they've just met me or whoever they're talking to at the time, so they don't know, you know, if that person's serious about what they do.
Okay. Well, as I say, show's yours. Tell us a bit more about your research and what you found.
Well, like I say, I started roughly around 17, 18 years ago. All across the UK, getting phone calls off people. I started off advertising in the UFO magazine, which was very popular. People would contact me, I'd go down. If possible, I'd visit them, take me where they're seeing the sighting, get as much information as possible, and then obviously see what was around that area, any airports, RAF bases, things like that. Maybe get in touch with the local police force, see if they had any phone calls around that time, and just basically try and get as much information of basically what it could be. I try and rule out what it could be before I head in down that route. You know, like, it could be the case of there's a flyby from the local Air Force base or the police helicopter. It's numerous times that's been mistaken for a UFO, especially at a distance, because you might not hear any noise coming from the helicopter, but all you see is these lights. So just try and get, and a lot of the time that they're pretty helpful as well at the local police. You know, they will give information out if, obviously they can't go into detail of what the reasons for, but if there's a helicopter flying around, they'll let me know at that time, or if anybody else is rung up to report a sighting. And basically I just go from there. And if try and get some radiation to take a Geiger counter down, see if there's any radiation around the sighting and any readings like that, and just go from there, really.
Sounds like what we need for the portal, the Geiger counter.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But can I just ask him if what would be his favourite place to actually encounter UFOs?
Did you get that, Glenn?
I did, yes. Now, there's lots of reports out there saying, UFO hotspots and things like that. Now, my view on that, to be honest with you, no one can tell where these things are going to appear. And there's those reports, and there's theories out there, the government are involved. Is it actually something from outer space, or is it just the local government flying a new sort of plane or anything like that? So, actual hotspot, I'm very reluctant to go down that route. I just think you can't tell if something's going to appear. It's going to appear.
Yeah.
Now, there's plenty of places out there that are popular places, like Wrexham Forest. That's a popular place, and they do have UFO walks down there of where it was apparently landed and seen. But I think hotspots, well, you can never tell.
Charlotte's come back again, and he wants to know, does Glenn have any personal views on what he thinks UFOs are and where they come from?
Right, UFOs, well, it's like what the dictionary says, really. UFOs is unidentified. Now, obviously people, when they associate a UFO, they're saying something from outer space, but unfortunately it's just something that's unidentified. Now, my job, and like other people out there, is trying to find the answer to these sightings. Now, could it be something from another planet? Who knows? But I do believe that taking the UFO phenomena of visitations and things like that to one side, I find it very hard to believe that there's nothing out there, because we have proof that there's things out there. We've evolved on a planet, either if you look down religion or evolution, whichever route you want to take. I find it very hard to believe that there's only us evolved out of so many planets out there in the universe. It's such a big, big place. You know what I mean? So I do believe that there is something out there. Now, are they coming? Now, that's another question, and that's hopefully one day we'll be able to find out.
Well, we heard recently that there is going to be a time, is it 2014, I think Derek was predicting? Yeah.
Yes.
Charlotte also was saying that all the popular places seem to have portals to them, within them. What do you think? What's your theory on portals?
Yeah, is it a coincidence?
Is it a coincidence that they've got portals?
It's another tricky subject with these portals. I think it's all down to belief, and I think a lot of what people read in the media and read in text and things like that. Obviously, if we are being visited, obviously they're going to be in a very high advanced technology than we are, because we've got nothing that could go beyond our realm at the minute. So, is that a possibility? Maybe, but who knows? There's no evidence.
We do know of a couple of portals since we've been doing this show. One's up in North Yorkshire Dales, and one's over in Wicklemore Bar Taps. But Nigel, our Charlotte, could tell you more about that. Because we're going to go over and see him and find out more. Like I said, we could do the Geiger counter, I think.
Yeah.
So, he still hasn't thrown anyone in it yet. His wife wants to throw him in it, but see what happens. But we've heard some stories of late. One guy I was chatting to today, and he was saying that that he's been that he's gone through a portal and turned up not far away from where he was, but been seeing different places. So. I just wonder what your thoughts were then about that. Was about, do you think that UFOs are using portals, or are you saying it is just down to belief?
Like I said, I think it's tricky, because I think a lot of it, like you say, is down to belief. I don't think there's no evidence to suggest that's what they're using. But I think, like I going back earlier, if we are being visited, is that, you know, an option of how they're contacting with us? Because obviously, like I say, I think they're going to be really advanced than we are at the minute. So is that a way of communicating? Is that, you know, so?
Yeah, it always fathoms me out that, you know, that the powers that be, they can see an alien, you know, sort of anti-aircraft, so to speak, coming into our sort of fly space sort of thing. But when it comes to UFOs, you know, they seem to be very far between, so they must know about them, surely.
Well, it's in the government.
In
fact, well, I think, obviously, if, like going back earlier, I think if we are being visited, I think the government would know about it. I think I can't remember the date now, but Nick Pope, who used to work for the Ministry of Defence, he came forward because there was a sighting, I think it was on the M5, I think it was, and 2 fighter jets came to accept it. Now, he contacted the Ministry of Defence and said, is this true? And they confirmed that 2 fighter jets did go out to intercept something that was in our airspace. Now, they didn't confirm what it was. Now, it's like he said when he came on and made a statement, obviously something had been seen, because they wouldn't normally just send out fighter jets for no reason. But obviously, as far as he was aware and what the government had said, that there was nothing, there was no sort of plane or nothing in flight. They contacted local airports, private airports, there'd been planes around, and there was nothing. Obviously, they didn't state of what to intercept them, but they did confirm that 2 fighter jets did fly out at that time.
Right, and what's your future research? What is it you'll be doing? What are you planning on doing in the future?
I just basically carry on doing what I'm doing at the minute, and obviously as much information and much research I can gather regarding UFO phenomena, focusing more basically on abductions. I like to help people more regarding to that and getting the help they need, because, like I say, it is difficult coming forward. It's difficult for anybody coming forward regarding anything, sightings or abductions, you know, and just basically helping these people and hopefully direct them in the right direction and just keep it going, basically. And this is one of the reasons why I'm wanting to do the website, just to keep people updated with UFO news, I think, what's going on in the world, and just keeping people sort of motivated into come out and speak more about it, because you know, there's a stigma attached to it, unfortunately. But
so did you say you didn't have a website at the moment, but you're going to?
No, yeah, it's getting sort of, it's in the progress now of, so it should be up and running in the next couple of days.
Right. So, and if anyone has any stories that they can send to you, where would they need to send them, or would they contact you somehow?
Well, at the minute, I've just had an email address, which is glen.richardson75@hotmail.co.uk.
Okay.
At the minute. But like I say, in the next couple of days, the website should be up and running. So.
Right. And they can find you on Facebook if they need you as well, can't they?
They can, yes.
Right. And you're also part of the KTPF on Facebook, so I'm sure they can find you on there as well. So,
excellent.
Well, thank you very much for giving us your insight into the research. Is there anything else you need to tell us?
No, that's it really. I just, obviously there's people out there listening. I just hope if people do have sightings, you know, they do come forward, because I think a lot of people do believe that something is going on. I believe that something is going on, and hopefully the more and more people that do come forward with their experiences regarding abduction or sightings or anything, and hopefully we can get the answers that people are wanting.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we've got your email address there. So it's glen.richardson75, did you say, at hotmail.co.uk?
Yep.
And as I say, they can find you on the KTPF in Facebook, and you can let us know on Facebook when your site's up and running then.
Excellent.
Okay,
brilliant.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Glen.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye-bye.
Cheers, Glen.
Take care now, bye-bye.
Well, that was Glen Richardson telling us his little bit of research, which is basically what we're after, really. We're after people to ring up and tell us what they've been doing. It doesn't have to be a whole 45 minutes on it. It just needs to be their own experiences, doesn't it, Neil? Really?
Of course it does.
You know, that's what we're here for.
It's just an insight of what people do and what they believe in, and you know, everybody's got to have a say.
Yeah.
You know,
even if you're an individual that don't do paranormal events, for instance, like with ourselves or Simply Joe's or Simply Ghost Nights, even if you don't do that sort of thing, just to come on and share what you've felt, what you've had, if anything's been done to you, whether Early's been probed, scarred for life, and Bigfoot's found in Boggy Bottom, or whatever, whatever it is, we want to hear about your stories. Don't feel as though it's weird and wonderful and out of this world. We're not here to ridicule. We're not here to take the mickey or anything like that. We're here to understand and for you to share your stories with us. Whatever you feel is has happened to you, or if you've had an experience of the spooky kind, isn't it? Then we want to hear about it, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, Nigel does have a point with UFOs. You can log all the UFOs you want. It's not going to give you any answers. The only thing it will give you is you will find the areas that are most visited, but it's not going to give you an answer as to why they're there.
He said, "I'm going to have all the ETs in the universe banging on the window soon, Steve." Well, if they're willing to tell us what the hell's going on, I'm sure we'll have them on the show.
Just set shadow onto them, mate. Just set shadow onto them.
Well, you see, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about sharing. Okay, the views may not be taken so serious or whatever, and or some people may think that the research or something is wrong or not being done right, and we need these views, so people have got to start somewhere, haven't they? And if they're getting something out there, then maybe.
Don't worry, Nigel. I got you. Soon missed that one.
What was that? What did I mean?
He said she'll have all the ETs on it. Well, Joe said she won't believe in UFOs until she's been probed.
Oh, right, okay. So
I said, just keep wearing that mask.
So he was on about Joe, not me?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I can't get into a bass.
Yeah, well, bass-wise, Joe went to, what do you call it?
Horror night.
I'm quite sure the transvestite that she was with on that night might just probe her. If
I don't know. So, but like Helen said, there's a probe conference, so I don't know when that is, but maybe they can tell us sometime and where it is. JW said he's an alien and he's lived in Norwich for 13 years. Do you know that?
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't, does it? I knew there was something wrong with him.
I did have a feeling.
Yeah. Definitely. Yep. So.
Yeah, you need to put your teeth in more often. Otherwise, people are going to realise you're an alien.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, so that was Glenn giving us his insight to what research he's done. As I say, it's didn't expect it to be as short as it was, I must admit. But then again, we've got an open forum tonight, haven't we?
Yes.
And this could go on forever.
This could go on all night if they want.
Yeah, because you're the one who's asking the questions.
Look at that.
So.
John loves me.
John loves me. Right.
Don't you love me, Steve?
After I made that comment, he says, "I love you too."
Yeah, the love.
Helen said she's choking with laughter because Charlotte said it's a conference where you can get probed. So, right. No, it won't be all night. I promise you that. It won't be all night.
Work in the morning,
yes, definitely.
And Joe's got hospital in the morning.
Well, what we'll do is we'll have a quick break and.
It will be quick because there's not many events, is there?
No, there isn't.
You hear us, we hear you.
So what we'll do is we'll just quickly go through the paranormal events for you, and then we'll come back with Neil, who's going to talk to us about God knows what.
And anything anybody wants to speak about, and keep it to the paranormal, please.
No monkeys, no giraffes.
Monkeys, there's no tape measures coming out or anything like that. Just keep it clean.
Tape measures, oh my God. Joe, calm down. Right, so we'll see you in To Shake Some Lamb's Tail.
We've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com. your one-stop paranormal directory.
On the weekend of the 13th and 14th, there's the MBS, that's Mind, Body and Spirit Show at the Monastery in Gorton. And on the 19th, there's a monthly psychic one-to-one readings now available in the Manchester area with medium Neil Munnerley, plus tarot and psychometry readings with intuitive clairvoyant Suzanne Lilly.
Yeah, and also we've got on the 13th of April, Milk and Winter Gardens. You can join the haunting team there on the 13th. They'll be there. They said it's steeping in paranormal activity, and the night will include vigils, seances, table tipping, Ouija boards, and lots more. And not only that, there was another one I saw here. Let me just check. No, that was it, I'm afraid. Oh, yes, no, sorry. There's us. We got a social night. I knew there was another one. We have a social night, even though it's for UK Shadow Seekers. It's all about keeping the paranormal friendly as well. But it will be at the Boundary in Aldenshaw, which is in the Tameside area near Ashton-under-Lyne. It's not far from the Guybridge station. So if you fancy joining us for a social night, come and have a drink with us. We'll be there, and we will have our tarot cards with us, or I will. Lynn won't be there this month, I'm afraid, but we will have tarot readings there for you if you're interested, and if you want to come down and we can chat about the paranormal, or just sit there and have a laugh and a joke, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It is, and I have the first question for you, Mr. Neil.
Okay.
Can I just finish the paranormal events?
Oh, no, sorry.
So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events available now. ParanormalEventsForYou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. ParanormalEventsForYou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Okay, that's the events out the way. Yes, in the domestic there. Helen said you're bad, yeah. Steve.
See, Nigel, I knew you'd get me in trouble, you. And the question was, have you worked with any famous mediums, Neil, apart from him?
Apart from him? Who's him?
From Nigel. Apart from Nigel. I know me and Nigel share a common sort of goal or a common path there. Yeah, I have in the past. I mean, my background. I mean, I was taught the Doris Stokes way, so I have done a little bit of work with Doris Stokes very, very early years. I mean, I was still a child then.
Knee-eye to a grasshopper.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I was like grasshopper then. Actually, I didn't walk the rice paper though. No, I worked with Rita Rogers for a while, who was Princess Diana's, or one of Princess Diana's mediums or psychic friends, shall we say.
Yeah, that would explain where I've heard the name from.
Yes, she's wrote a few books, I think, Rita. She sort of fell out with me because I was sort of passing her level, if you like, and a lot of her sort of followers started following me, so we did have a bit of a fallout. It wasn't meant to be.
It just happened like it does.
It just happened.
Nigel says Doris Stokes is a legend.
She absolutely
fantastic. And they can't hear you, Neil, so you need to speak up, sir.
I'm whispering again.
Yes, you are.
I can't get this any closer. Without it looking rude.
Just talk into it, not over it.
Yeah, into the top.
He's not used to a mic. Are you, Neil?
I'm not, no. I have bad experiences with microphones as well.
Yeah, he keeps breaking them. We put radio mics on him and they just go weird. Take him off him, and I wear them and they work fine.
Well,
it's just you.
It's just me. I'm
special. At least that one hasn't got a battery.
I'm special needs.
Special needs.
I'm not even going there.
Well, if you want to give us a call tonight and give us your opinion, you can do it by Skype at ktpf.paranormalshow. If you want to ask a question to Neil, don't just do it in the chat room. We do like to hear your voice now and again, don't we?
Come on, ring up.
You know, you can also ring up on the landline, which is 0844 414 3982. So if you want to do that,
we've got all these people on the chat who are all interested in the paranormal.
Yeah, mediumship.
I'm quite sure there's some questions out there.
Yeah.
That we want to raise, or not just questions, but a subject that we want to talk about.
Well, we'll go to. I said, what do you think about leprechauns?
Oh my God!
Little people.
No, are they something that you would say exist?
No, sorry.
Are we going to stop there on that one?
Well, Irish dwarfs. Maybe.
You have to believe in the little people. It's like fairies. You have to believe in fairies.
I don't believe in
you
fairies.
do have to, and you have to clap. Yeah. You have to clap to make sure that they're alive. Sorry.
I think the nearest thing I do to that is I do salute the first magpie I see in the morning.
Well, there you go.
That's the only thing that comes close to fairies and leprechauns
and Lisa, then their pot of gold.
Yeah.
But have you not seen Peter Pan? Tinkerbell, she's dying, and you have to clap, and you have to say you believe in fairies. Be careful, I have fairy listeners.
Yeah, you're a little.
And I'm supposed to be special needs.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
She's a little Irishman.
I'm anemic.
Yeah, she's anemic.
Yes.
Well, while we're waiting for some more to come through, there was something we were talking about earlier.
Can I just ask for this question? Why would a spirit have any control over another?
Pardon?
Chris L. would like to know, why would a spirit have any control over another? Now, we've been to places where Parkside, we've mentioned it recently in our interview that we did for chat, and we went there, didn't we? And we had a time, I assume this is something similar to that you're on about, but we had a time where we were trying desperately to talk to spirit, and it took so long that it ended up being that there was a higher spirit, or there was a nasty spirit that was stopping them from coming through.
It can be the case.
Right, okay.
I mean, again, it depends on the circumstances. If you're in a venue where there has been, say, a working environment, let's use Morecambe as an example, where there was, there's been a circus in there, there's been a theatre, and if you go and sit underneath the stage, there was a dressing room, where that would have been controlled by a certain person, and people are under control in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Who would have been controlled on the physical plane, when they were alive. And they're all in the same time scale as well. So yeah, if you've got somebody who would have been nasty and bossy and in the control sort of way of mind, then they would carry that over to spirit. And then the spirit people around, if they came back to that venue, would then be in that same sense of being scared of him or being under that control. So that can go on. But it depends on the circumstances. If you've got something that's bad there, that's stopping other things or stopping good things that come through, then yeah, that can happen. They can become aware of that, and they would be scared of coming through.
Right.
And it's a bit like we've had examples where there's been a low energy spirit going around, and there's a child spirit who won't come through because they're aware that there's this nasty adult around, and then they're quite scared of coming through. So it depends on the circumstances. It does happen.
He follows on from that saying, but why would a person alive have any control over the dead? Right.
There's no such thing as being in control over the dead. Okay, they come through on their own free will. We can only invite them. Okay. Now, when I said earlier on about coaxing things from the dead or raising the dead, okay, I could actually sit here now and raise something very low energy and bring that through because they're desperate to come through into this plane. They're desperate to come back into this physical plane, and that's why we get things like possessions and poltergeists and other things. So it's not about control; it's about inviting. Okay. Now, the other thing you've got to think about as well is spirit energies are just as intrigued about us as what we are about them. Okay, so again, if you invite them through, they become intrigued and they'll come through. So it's not about control. There's no control whatsoever.
No.
So that doesn't exist.
Yeah, so you said exactly. Okay. It's their choice.
Exactly.
A couple of things here from Nigel. One's Joe said he's brown nosing. He said some of the best mediums I've ever met don't come close to Neil, and his sense of being aware and knowing is at a level that I'm in awe of. So Joe said he's brown nosing.
He says, but saying that, in the most respectful way.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not being paid to say it either.
I've already paid you, Nigel. I've already paid you.
But he said, even in spirit, we have to learn lessons that were not completed, and control has to be part of this so we can learn about it.
Exactly. And the same as us as well, you know, and the guide I work with, you know, and it's not about being in awe of me. I'm not the one that's producing all this information. I'm relaying it from my guide. You know, he tells me exactly, or he gives me the answers that I ask him. You know, so it's not me. I'm just relaying that from spirit world. So I'm not the.
You're the portal.
I'm the portal.
You're the portal.
I'm the vessel.
Yes, but you still have to have, for the want of a better way of putting it, a certain skill to be able to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's not just, oh yeah, this is coming through. But you have to be attuned. You have to put the work in.
Yeah.
You can't just do it willy nilly.
It is a 50-50 thing, you know. And what you put in, they're allowed to give back, you know. And they only give you the same amount of effort as you put in. So it is a 50-50 thing.
Right, Joe says here that her and her friend did a Ouija board the other night and asked for family to come through, and nothing happened.
Okay.
Would this be because there wasn't enough energy?
First question is, had you been drinking?
Probably. It's normally the way. She says no.
Okay, it depends on. There's a number of factors that can stop somebody coming through on a Ouija board. It could be the energy is not high enough. It could be they just don't want to come through. You know, it depends on the circumstances.
Right. Okay. Can I go to a subject that came up on Facebook personally for me?
Gonna.
Right. It covers a lot of things. Right. Okay. Concerning investigations. Excuse me while I turn away from you. Right. Now, there's a lot of people that come on investigations and they feel bored, not a lot's happening, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And some of them can't just take what's going on. There's a bit of skepticism about it. Now, the thing is, to me, some places that we have been to, we have to give benefit of the doubt regardless of their claims, and sometimes we do feel it could be down to imagination. Sometimes if it is there and the spirits don't want to respond but may do another night. Yeah. And we would normally go back and find out on the second visit, but if we really think it's not worth it, then we don't bother, do we? If we know that it's quiet. Although negativity in groups can affect the proceedings, we have seen on many occasions where a group will have plenty of responses but another on the night won't. If there is too much skepticism. Now, this is correct, isn't it? Which can spoil it for others. Now, we've had people, not many, but we've had people recently that's been on investigation, or one person to be precise, who really felt as though, you know, she was bored. She left, before the end. Final ending, she left about half hour earlier. She dissed everything, even though a friend was having stuff happening to her. Now,
well, friends both sides of her.
Yeah. So why?
And she was just, she just didn't.
What's your theory on this, then, Neil? What would you say to the people about this sort of thing? What's this? Obviously, some of them have, maybe they've watched Most Haunted. They want the bumps and the bangs and blah blah blah. They're not going to get it, are they? Really? Are they really? Unless you're really
only if I conjure up something
precisely,
low energy,
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're expecting this, aren't they? Every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But what? Just for those out there who don't go on investigations, who's not into this and just listening for paranormal reasons, excuse me. What would you say everyone should expect on paranormal investigations? What should they expect?
Every venue is different.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just talking about if somebody goes along who's negative, they will get negative. Because negativity attracts negativity, positivity attracts positivity. And that's the whole reason why before investigations we do, or I do when I do the pre-talk, I get the energy going and get everybody in a good mood and make it all positive. That's before we start. Because that's producing a good positive energy.
Yeah.
Which will, produce positive results. So again, a negative person would would get negativity basically, so they would end up.
They'd hinder it though, wouldn't they?
They would hinder it. Okay. Some people go along, expecting things to happen because they've watched Most Haunted or other programs, and things have happened where it's either been, set up or whatever. So they expect that, and they come along, and it's nothing like that because they're having to do work. They're actually, they're not standing there observing. They're, we make people work, as you know. So they just can't get into it because then they become bored because, well, this is not happening, that's not happening. But the lady in question that you're talking about, not mentioning any names,
no,
she's seen things happening, but she refused
to believe it.
It wasn't a case of refusing to believe it. She didn't want people to know that she was actually believing it.
Right.
Okay, she refused to let people sort of see that side of it, and that's why she was acting or behaving the way that she was.
Yeah.
It wasn't that she didn't believe.
Yeah, well, she actually said that a basic thing was she was really into this sort of thing, but I don't feel she is now. Yeah, and I had another person from a group come and back me up on this sort of thing about the fact that they've had their fair share of quiet nights, and some they do call it rubbish, but it's just their perception of it, isn't it? It's not going to happen all the time.
It's not going to happen all the time.
And I've always said the minimum you're going to get is maybe a brushing on the face, a cobwebbing.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to have maybe your top pulled or something, a whisper in your ear. Yeah. They're the minimum stuff, isn't it, really?
Of course.
But people, they just desist, don't they? It's like, what was it? Somebody said, I don't understand why people go on this. Somebody said it, what was it? Reiki Debs. I don't understand why people who don't believe in spirit go on a hunt but then will not do a lone vigil. Now, funny you should say that. I went with another group to the Galleries of Justice.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny. This poor woman, she turned around and said, or the guys turned around and said there that they were going to do, what was it, a Ouija board session. And she said, well, when you do that, can I not be in the building? In the building,
not the room, but
not the room, but the whole building, And I'm not sure if that's where I first met Reiki Debs, but
it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
And that was Nottingham. Yes, that's right. And basically, she wanted to be completely out the building. And he said, "Well, I hate to say this, but we're going to be doing it on every vigil somewhere or another." Oh, so, and mind you, she did get involved after a while, didn't she? She
did.
She turned a bit,
Yeah, she did.
But it was quite funny the way she come out with it. But then again, we've had people in our group that won't even touch a Ouija board, won't even roll the bloody thing up, because we've got a rolly one.
Can I just say, Doc, he said he found it very interesting because over in the States, people will not use a Ouija board because of it bad, and no one will do table tipping.
Weird,
I mean, like Charlex and Debs and that, they're saying it's Ouija board is no different to at all. It's the intent and an open mind.
It's an extension of yourself.
Yeah. This is it. It's as you say. It's the way people have percepted it, and drunken people, and it's just coincidence that you play with a Ouija board, you get up, you go out, and you miss the traffic light.
Don't get me wrong. A Ouija board can be misused.
Yeah.
In the wrong circumstances, but if used in the proper manner, in the proper control, it's no different to glass divination. It's no different to using the rods. It's no different to and it's an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he said that Anita did a session with a drinking glass on the table and freaked everyone out.
Glass divination.
And that was on their tour.
Yeah.
But it did open up a lot of people's eyes to the fact that you don't need high tech gadgets to do this.
You don't.
It's something simple like that.
Why am I being sent to the meerkat.com?
Excuse me?
I don't know. The domain parked was Instra.
For what?
It's not there. She was like a meerkat just to be. I don't know. It's just got meerkat.com. Don't look like it's there actually. The domain's been parked. So I don't know why Greenlee was sending me there. But anyway, why do you want to sue a meerkat, Lee? Oh, right.
Through the mirror.
But no, it is just tools, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, and tools are just an extension of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, so
Just seeing whether there's any questions I might have missed.
I mean, it kind of goes back to the witchcraft thing.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as white and black magic. It's magic. It's how you use it.
Yeah.
If you use those tools to help, then people call it white. If you use it to harm people, people call it black.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's exactly the same spells and stuff.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you're using them.
Well, they class black magic as bad magic, which is negative magic, which was magic that was supposed to be used against people to do harm, or and then obviously a white witch was supposed to be using the white magic, which was the good magic, the positive magic, which was supposed to help you and heal you and make you better and things like that.
Well, since we've been talking,
Nigel said his brand names again. He said exactly, Steve.
Since we've been talking, obviously our Andy's come in, Tigger.
Old Tigger. And
also Andy707, so it's nice to see you. He's reverted back to B19 by the looks of it.
No, I think that's Marie.
We're not talking magic, Andy. We're just having an open forum.
Not a lot.
Sort of thing. If you want to ask a question, Neil's here for that. And Greenlee's talking about meerkats. And Marie's Tigger. I'm like, hi, Marie. But as I say, it's real magic. Real magic? But we're just talking about anything and everything pertaining to paranormal, mediumship.
I want to ask something that we were going to talk about a little while ago.
God, you're reading my mind or something.
Yes, I'm psychic.
Oh, yeah.
Protection.
Right.
How would you suggest that we protect ourselves on an invest, for instance?
There's many different ways of doing it.
I know. That's
and
why
everybody has personal references to protection and how they protect themselves and who protects them and who they ask to protect them and what they protect themselves with. So to go into that is a very, very long subject. That would take me through the night. Okay, so if you want me to sit here and talk about all the various different forms of protection, that's fine.
Can I ask something first of all?
Personal reference. To what people see.
So how you do it is it's very personal.
Yeah. Can I first ask? Right. First of all, Andy says you look smart tonight.
Thanks, Andy.
And that's because he's come straight from work. Right. Now, why need protection? Now, I've heard, to be honest with you, people do like to have protection. So if they want to say a prayer before an investigation or whatever.
We're talking protection from harm from spirits here, by the way. And not protection from, as Joe says, having kids.
No, yeah. So basically, I've heard also people saying to me, why do you need protection? You want to express, you want to feel the spirits near you. You're just basically putting a barrier up for you to say, stay away from me. Yeah. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So, but why do it? Why do it then?
Some people do, some people don't. I mean, I don't do it.
No.
As you've noticed.
No, I don't. I know that.
There's no reason to do it. Because people want to experience.
Precisely. And if they're going to put this bubble around them, obviously you check them before they go out and so you're fine, sort of thing. But how do you know they're fine?
How do I know they're fine?
Yeah, how can you see that they're fine as they walk out the door and they've not got something jump on their back? Right, okay.
Which you're not going to know. That's between me and my guide, I'm afraid.
No, but seriously.
It has a lot to do with
the aura?
Energy that they give off, and, the aura,
so if an aura's, say for instance, the aura is a different colour, there must be, then you've got to check and make sure
sort of, but I also feel their energy as well, and that's why I always touch the crown chakra.
Right, okay. Yeah. So, as I say, this protection thing is not really needed.
Well, Joe said they always put protection on their events. They use an energy builder.
Energy buildup is fine because you need energy anyway. As long as it's good energy, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But to put protection around yourselves on an invest is defeating the object because you're going to prevent.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's what they do, but somebody. I'm not sure if it was Simply Ghost or whether it was the other group went to in Nottingham. They don't put a protection around you. They put a protection around the building. Okay. Yeah. So that what's ever happening inside, you're going to feel. Mm-hmm. But you can't take anything away. I remember heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, they say a prayer as well, don't they?
That is very old spiritualist church method.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's going back in my time when I was in the spiritualist
Really?
church, and my little tiny amount of time that I spent with them.
oh, right, okay.
They
So
still do that today, to
Right.
this day.
well,
you know?
the group that I must have heard this from must have had some sort of connection, or they'd seen it somewhere and thought that might have been a better idea instead of putting it around the person in general.
Possibly.
Possibly.
But
Yeah.
it's beyond me what's happening there.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's not something that
Yeah. I have a question from Chris. He says, do you think near-death experiences are a personal journey, or do we all go through the same process?
Near-death experiences, or
He said near-death.
Near death. I've had one of them.
Can you just read that question out again then?
Right.
Yeah. Do you think near-death experiences
Mhm.
are a personal journey, or do you think we all go through the same process?
From my experience, the process is very the same. The only thing that are different are it depends on what level you go to. It depends on what happens after death, whether you're going to come back for another life or whether you're going to move on spiritually to a level up there. You could end up being moved on as a possible guide. So again, it depends on what they're going to do with you after you've passed away. I mean, I've died twice, as you know, and they wouldn't let me go, so they've sent me back twice.
More likely didn't want you up there.
Well, they didn't want me up there.
Yeah, get him back down there. We don't want him up here. He's a troublemaker.
But the process is very the same after or just after death.
Yeah.
Of how that process of going from this physical earth to the spiritual plane, or spirit world, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
That process is exactly the same, but what they do afterwards is a completely different process, and it's personal to whatever happens to your soul.
Right. Now we've got some more questions here.
Can I just say this from Charlotte, because it relates to the protection thing.
Okay.
It says some guys will allow negative energies to get through to you at vital times if you need to learn from an experience, but usually they will keep you safe.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I don't put any protection up at all because I know my guide's there and he will protect me, in any sort of instance of negative attack or whatever. And that's what they're there for, so there's no need to go in and sit there for 10 minutes wasting your time putting all this bubble wrap around you or wherever you perceive to be your protection.
Reiki Deb says she don't feel she needs it, but I think people do find it comforting and they feel safe. Jumping back there, Andy707 said that in his 20 years of experience, I read it wrong originally, I thought it said of experiencing nothing. In his 20 plus years of experience, nothing has ever followed him from a location. Now you get these people that say this sort of thing, I've been on a location with you, blah blah blah, and I think I've brought something back.
It can happen.
It can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. If for instance, if a low energy entity was to target you, they could definitely follow you home.
Right.
It's a possibility, and it has been known.
So it is possible to go to a location and take something bad to another location.
Yes, it is.
Right. The reason why I'm saying this is because there was a story from Bolling Hall. The last time we were there, he said to me before we left, "Have you got everything?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Have you got everything? Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." "Why?" "Everything's packed up. I've checked all the rooms." He said, "The reason being because a group came, and when they came and they left, I saw something run up the stairs. It looked a bit like Gollum with a cloak on." Right. Yeah, he said that was the only way I could explain it. Right. And when they came back, they actually said to me, "Did you see anything funny?" After we'd left last week or the week before, sort of thing. And he said, "Funny enough, I did." And they said they'd been to another location. I think it was Hellfire Caves down south, wasn't it? And they brought something back with them.
Yeah, they brought an elemental.
They called it an elemental.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was a large professional group we're talking about here.
right?
i.e.
And
company.
unfortunately, it stayed here. And he said, "Well, when you find it, can you take it back with you?" So this sort of thing can happen. I'm going to nip back a bit to what you said, because Andy707 said, "Died twice. What happened?"
Well,
Hi everyone. He said, "Hi everyone." By the way,
I should be dead many times over now. They just can't get rid of me. They don't want me up there, I don't think.
Not your time.
No, it's not my time. And I do know there's bigger things planned for me that could come up, so they just won't let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But there's loads of things that have happened. I fell out of helicopters and.
That was a bit silly of you, wasn't it?
Very silly.
Supposed to jump out, not fall out.
I've survived all kinds of things. I've been shot twice. I've been stabbed. I had half my face rebuilt due to a vicious attack, which that's where I died twice in the ambulance. Basically, I had to be resuscitated twice. So yeah, numerous things have happened. So whether people see that as luck, but I was talking to somebody today about it, and some of the things that have happened or circumstances have happened around these accidents and things that have happened to me. It's not luck, because, for instance, I was stood in between two lorries, and I had a screwdriver in my top pocket, and the screwdriver pulled itself out of the pocket and landed on the floor. And as I bent down to pick the screwdriver up, the two lorries collided. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'd have been stood up still, it would have crushed me.
Yeah.
I'd be dead, So just certain circumstances like that which have happened that I know someone's up there protecting me.
Well, Charlotte said, knowing that we are all protected enough, but to know that completely is quite hard to do, so we need to help, but from guides. And then I saw something from from Helen somewhere, which I seem to have lost.
Yeah, and he said the ghosts want to stay where they are, and Joe said one woman, not knowing any names, likes to collect them from locations and takes them home, but she feels sorry for them.
Oh, what? She has a house full of spirits. Said Reiki Debs.
Well,
Doc Savage said it's happened from time to time with them, with Minnesota PIG, Paranormal
Investigation. That Bowling all mentioned it to them, and they said it had orange teeth.
Ooh, yeah, I can't remember exactly what was said, but I know that they did mention it. Where are we? Who's got orange teeth? He's got lost. He's got lost on that one. Okay, let's see what else have we got here. The thing Sue was talking about, Bollinghall told us the same. Yeah, right. The one with orange teeth. Right. Let's see. Is there any more questions there, Steve? Did Neil ever feel like he was being looked after spiritually during his army days?
That's a definite. Yeah, definite. Quite a number of things happened. Some things I can't talk about, obviously, but like I was saying, certain circumstances where I should be dead now, basically. Things have happened which have unravelled a series of events which have prevented me from harm's way, really.
Yeah.
And looking back at that, I know myself that somebody has put them series of events in to protect me. But having the guide I've been with many years since childhood. I trust him 100%, and what he tells me to do, I do, without a doubt. And he's helped me quite a lot as well, especially through the army days. So yeah, definitely, very well protected.
Yeah, you would tell us the story about when you missed the off ramp and pulled over, and you should have been in the garage, and it blew up.
I was returning over to Germany. I'd just been on 2-week leave, and it was a 12-hour drive. I'd been driving for 12 hours and getting quite tired. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was starting to do the nodding dog behind the wheel, so I thought, well, I'll pull in the next service station. The service station must have been 2 or 3 kilometres up the road. I nodded off to sleep behind the wheel. Literally seconds, but I missed the ramp off the motorway into the services, so I pulled over on the hard shoulder, got out the car for some fresh air, and there was a massive explosion, literally where I should have been parked in the service area. And what had happened is a petrol tanker had blown up. I mean, it nearly lifted me and the car off the ground. So,
Yeah.
So quite lucky there. There's been a number of things. I mean, I should have been on the Zeebrugge ferry disaster. I was booked on that ferry, but the night before, my friend had crashed my car, so I had to wait till the next morning to get a hire car. And if I hadn't have waited till the next morning, I would have been on the ferry disaster.
Bloody hell.
Just loads of things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, Andy, he said he wished he could believe in guides, but he's never experienced one himself.
Okay.
But isn't it so that you don't actually have to experience the guide to have them with you?
Yeah.
I mean, they can work in the background, and and you don't actually know you're actually using them in a lot of cases.
Exactly. And a lot of people out there aren't stuck to one guide. They have various people coming in. If they're not working within the spirit world, they'll have family members who come in and guide them, and friends, relatives, whatever. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've not heard this term, but he said locations medium. He sees how locations used to look.
Yeah, that's what kind of a medium he was. He said, not a guide telling me, I saw it for myself.
Okay.
Mind you, I've done that. I've looked in a mirror in a alleged haunted premises.
Yeah.
And I've seen what the room looks like, which has been very weird. You're looking in the mirror and then you look back and think, what?
It's recall.
Is it recall?
It's recall of that time that you're reliving, and it's sort of like seeing through the eyes of that spirit.
Wow.
Of what it was like in them days.
I remember when we was at Hightown Hall, we'd gone there to do a little bit of a private recce thing, didn't we, with the manager that night when he was there. And his wife, and we was in the stairwell, in the main stairs.
Can I just stop you?
Go on.
It has nothing to do with Christianity. I am not religious in any way, shape or form. I don't believe in religion. So no, nothing to do with Christianity at all, Andy.
But as I say,
that's two subjects I will not talk about.
Christianity.
No, religion and politics.
Oh, and politics, so, right. Okay.
Stop.
So basically, we were in this area where the stairs go up and leads into the main Hyde Hall, and I was standing near with my back to the door and looking down the stairs. Steve was at the top of the stairs with his wife looking down. I've seen, yeah, and
that's the manager's wife, not mine.
and basically Paul looked like he was like he had a coat on with a top hat.
He looked like a traditional doorman.
Yeah.
Long coat and everything else.
And then I actually turned and saw out the corner of my eye somebody walking up in a bustle dress. And as I turned round, the doors were shut. And because it was frost, I could hear slight music. And when you go in towards the dance and you've got the doors there and you can see the silhouettes of people sort of like dancing around and mingling. Yeah. I could actually see that through the the glazed window.
Yeah, it's recall.
Yeah, I think we all saw that. But I don't know if. But you were the only one that saw the lady walk past.
Yeah, what's this recall?
I don't know who was actually with me on the invest we did at Morecambe Gardens, but we were sat high up on one of the...
at the gods?
Yeah. We could actually see the dancers on stage.
Wow.
I don't know who you with me, Steve?
I can't remember. It's been a while.
I don't think so, no.
No, we could actually see the dancers on stage.
Andy's asked, where do guides actually come from?
No, very good question. Very good question.
Do you know the answer?
Yeah, is it a long answer?
Do you know the answer?
All shape, well, it depends on what type of guide you've got. For a start, yeah, this is a very long, very, very long subject. I could sit here till 6 o'clock in the morning and talk like that.
No, Joe's got to go to hospital in the morning.
I've got work.
And they've all made her hungry now because we're talking about chocolate brownies.
They made pretty hungry.
Well, say somebody in my position, we get what we call a working guide.
Yeah.
Who works with us, along with us, whatever you want to say. And they sort of come from sort of higher realms, because obviously they've got to bring knowledge to us and understanding to us about the spirit world. So they've got to be from sort of higher realms. Other people have different guides, like family members or relatives that have passed on, or people that have come through that they don't know of, that come through and maybe give them healing or help, or maybe during an illness. There's so many different types of guides and what they're for and their uses. It'd be quite hard for me to explain where they all come from.
Yeah, I mean, Andy
just woke up.
Andy said, what are the higher realms? It sounds like heaven to me.
This is probably where heaven came from in the first place. Nigel mentioned something just earlier on there about he believes in a creational source or God. What my guide has taught me is that there is a higher source, because we've got to have some sort of control. You know, we can't let the spirit world get on with what they want to do. There has to be some sort of order. What my guide has led me to believe, and what he's taught me, is that there is a kind of spiritual council up there. It's not run by one person, but it's run by a higher realm of people who then source information down through what we call realms, or different levels, or whatever you want to call them, planes, or So when we talk about planes and levels, we talk about types of energy. Okay, and we talk about higher learning. We talk about, because we've got to go through a process where it's like this life. We have to go through a process of learning to get to where we want to be, to get our goals and get results and things like that. So we're always constantly trying to thrive to get up that ladder. And it's the same in the spirit world. It's like climbing a ladder. There has to be a higher form of authority somewhere. Okay, so when we talk about the higher realms, it's the spirits that have been up there the longest, or have the most knowledge, or the most capabilities of passing their knowledge on to whoever.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
we're going very deep tonight, aren't we?
I mean, also, am I right that I'll use Red as an example. You call him Big Red, and he's a very big chap, by all accounts, he's a Native American. Now,
that's how he appears. That's how he appears.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to say. He's not necessarily a Native American. That's just how he appears to you. And Debbie's also said about animal guides.
Okay.
It was quite funny. As soon as she typed that out, animal guides, and it came up, Roxy walked through the door. She's just woken up. But what are animal guides anyway?
Well, people believe in animal guides. I'm not going to turn around and say that there isn't. But one of the bear native, and everything. But one of the Native American spiritual understandings was that we have what we call totem animals, or animal guides who are similar in our traits. But these animal guides can change depending on our circumstances at the time. So, one month we could have the bear as our totem animal. The next month we could have the wolf as our totem animal. So we're not actually stuck with a singular animal guide.
No.
It's just on the circumstances that we're living at that time.
So.
Rekha says she uses them in the animal guides in shamanic work, which would kind of work quite well, wouldn't it? Because it's a very nature-based way of working.
Right.
Talk radio.
Yeah, we're here on the KTPF Community Talk Show. We've got Neil Munnerley with us, and he's here to take your questions regarding the paranormal, mediumship, anything on that ilk. So if you want to ask a question, if you want to give us a call, the number should be running along the screen, I should say.
It is indeed. It's 0844 414 3982.
And if you want to Skype us, it's ktpf.paranormalshow.
You hear us, we hear you.
Yep, that's definitely what we're doing. If you want to give us a call, we will definitely be hearing you. And so, Neil, more questions. That's what we need from you there. And but this mediumship when it comes to investigations. I want to touch on investigations because obviously there's a few things that happen on investigations, isn't there? So when you're doing investigations, there's quite a few things that you can do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Obviously you do your transfiguration, you do your psychic mediumship, that other thing you mentioned. But there's a difference, isn't there? You said there's a difference, and you said that one you can use a red light, one you can use complete darkness. Can you tell us the difference between the two?
Okay. I think we touched on this last week, did we not? Transfiguration.
Not a transfiguration. We did.
It lasted all of about 2 minutes.
Yes, it did.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, you got questions about everything.
Transfiguration is part of the physical mediumship sort of area. Now, transfiguration can be done in a red light. The red light is used so as not to damage the spirit that's coming through. The reason why we use a red lamp is spirit energies come to us, and they're not in our sort of colour spectrum. That's why we can't see them a lot of the time. Okay? Yeah. They are more near the infrared spectrum, okay, which obviously we can't pick up with our own eyesight.
No.
So we use a red lamp basically because it helps or it stops the damage to the spirit energy coming through during transfiguration work. Now, what transfiguration is the spirit that is being channeled by the medium overlaps their facial features onto the medium's face. Yeah. So it appears that the medium's face is changing to their shape. Okay. Or maybe the spirit that they have channeled had a moustache or a beard, or so they would appear to then grow a beard. Yeah. But it's very, very similar to a projection. So it's just like having a projector and shining a projector on the medium's face and putting a picture on his face. It's very, very similar to that.
Right. Okay.
So there's not a lot of manipulation going on a physical level.
No.
Okay. Now, there has been some instances where I've channeled and I have put weight on. Okay. So I've either got a double chin or something like that. Okay. So there is some manipulation, but as the whole face changing thing goes, it's impossible because obviously you'd have to have bone manipulation and things like that. So it is actually a projection over the medium's face.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we have some more questions, I think, in the hub. I did in the chat room, which I did see. Or maybe I didn't. I've lost it. Perhaps Steve can have a look if there is any. So there's also the Victorian seance.
And he says when you die.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
Yeah. Do you think that you would become a guide, or would you want to, for that matter?
I don't know. I don't think they want to keep me up there, to be honest. I think they prefer me down here for some reason.
Send you back again.
They keep sending me down here. I'd love to become a guide for a number of a couple of reasons anyway. Is one, I'd like to explore as much knowledge as possible of the spirit world, and two, I would like to help people, and guide people on this physical plane, just as I've been helped. Do the same thing.
Yeah, sounds good. I've got an interesting question for you. What would you never do on an investigation?
What would I never do?
Yeah.
I'd never antagonise or summon something through on an investigation.
Antagonisation. How often do we see that?
All the time.
Goading,
yeah, it's another one. Yeah.
All the no-nos.
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, Chris just said he would assume that it would be your choice whether you become a guide or not. Or come back.
No, I don't believe it is. I believe that's out of your hands. I believe the choice is made for you. But that, I mean, again, that's my personal belief of what I've been taught. So
now Andy says, okay, let's go really deep.
Oh, here we go.
Do you think consciousness is separate from the physical brain?
Okay. If I look at if I look at the meditations that I do, okay. I mean, there's different things that I do. I mean, I used to do astral travel,
Make sure you keep your
and I used to delve in astral travel quite a lot until I got caught out and did something naughty and ended up getting slapped for it. Okay, so I've not done it since. But when I look at meditations, some of the meditations that I do and the techniques that I use, I am in a form of consciousness that is different from my own consciousness that would be here. So I am, and especially during physical mediumship as well, I am somewhere else. You know, I'm not actually sort of in my physical body. So, you know, again, I don't understand everything that goes on. I haven't got the answers to everything, but in a way, yes, I would say they were different.
And can you describe the place you go to when you're channeling?
I go to different places.
Describe one to us.
Describe one.
Yeah. and don't tell me it's a white room with a chair and a table either. Because I've been there myself and it's not very interesting.
I get sent there when I'm naughty to think about my actions. It depends. A lot of the time I'm placed in an environment where there's a lot of sort of people in the spirit world. I tend to go where there's a lot of knowledge. And some people call it the halls of learning. Is what they call the halls of learning.
Or the Akashic Library, as they call it.
Well, they call it a library, halls of learning, whatever. But I don't see it that way. It's a lot of people that you mingle with, and you catch certain things, and you taught certain things on a level that is almost sensed rather than spoken.
So it's a bit. It's as if you're talking through your mind to each other. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So going on the premise of Golding, Reiki says it's not that it frightens me, but I find it uncomfortable. Treat the spirits as if you would when they were living. Simply Joe says, at the end of the day, we are speaking to people without a body. If anyone speaks to me like that, I wouldn't be happy. Yeah. Charlotte said respect. Yeah. Going back on Andy's previous question about the subconsciousness is separate from the physical brain. I am assuming he means that. Yeah. He said, in truth, no one knows the answer to my question. He was asked, so why ask it? He said, I'm only asking for a view. Yeah. Do you believe in punishment for the soul in hell? Yes. I.e. hell. What do you think happens to
Hitler?
Oh, what did you think happens to Hitler?
No idea.
Hitler?
No idea at all.
Like heifer to me, but never mind. That's better.
I do know that there has to be a form of punishment up there. It's almost like it's a bit like somebody takes their own life. You know, they're made to sort of go through that over and over again on a daily basis until they've done their penance.
Right.
You know, so there is a punishment up there.
I'll leave you a minute with Reiki's.
What they've done with Hitler, I've no idea. I've never asked.
Yeah, Deb just said, if you can't destroy energy, where does ours go when we die?
Well, to the spirit realms, you know.
Sorry, Neil, that's a cop out.
No, it's not. I mean, it goes to spirit realms, or it can come back as another life. You know, like I say, I've not got all the answers. You know, I can only answer what I know. What knowledge I've got, I can only pass on.
Okay. I mean, it's like, to me, if it's probably a simplistic way, but if you're not coming back, I kind of, as I've said it before, I like it to see it as like a ball of consciousness.
Yeah.
Where all this energy goes to one place together, and us as mediums tap into that energy to bring through what we're bringing through.
I don't see it that way.
That's fine.
We are all linked.
Yeah.
By the same energy force. Okay, regardless of what people say, we are all linked. Okay, we don't. When we pass on, there are so many different things that can be done with us. You know.
Yeah.
And there's so many different sort of levels that we can be taken to. You know, like I said, we could be brought back to live another life. You know, over and over again, like me. But it's not a big ball of energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have certain things that we have to do up there. You know, we still have to work spiritually. You know.
No, I didn't say that we were one big ball of energy. I said that's where we go, and that's where we do what we have to do. We're all linked.
We are all
linked in that one place.
Yeah.
But I see it as a one big ball of energy.
Right.
But within that energy, we do what we have to do. I'm not saying that that's just it. That's a ball of energy. That's where we stay.
That's what the universe is. It's one massive energy. You know, it's not. You know, that's what we live in. You know.
Yep, I agree there.
So, any more questions from the hub or from the chat room, rather? So,
Well, and he said there's only one energy. If you take it down to the
Planck scale.
There's only one energy. Everything is energy. He says, Debs, the entire universe is one single energy field.
Max
Planck.
Whoever me, maybe.
Pound
or something or other.
Apparently with a Planck.
So basically, he's going quantum physics. It's like quantum.
I don't know anything about quantum physics, and I can't answer anything about.
I remember that
I'm
quantum jump. Was it quantum jump we used to watch?
Quantum leap.
Quantum leap.
Yeah.
That's portals. Yeah, Nigel.
Yeah. Charlotte says one super consciousness, and we are all individual parts of that.
Yeah.
Can I just say something that Nigel touched on earlier on
about
what people don't understand about portals and travelling and things like that? And he was looking at the particle theory, which is how. I shouldn't be talking about this really because it's not my subject, but it's from what I believe and what I've been told.
Well, that's what it's about.
Basically, it is very, very similar to a breakdown of particles, which then travels and then builds up on the other side. So we actually get to, and it's basically speed of light, the way it happens, and that's why it's so quick, so you wouldn't feel anything anyway. But it is the travelling of particles rather than a physical body that goes through that. And that's apparently how we travel from portal to portal.
So would you say that our essence, soul, whatever you want to call it, is more particle than energy?
Well, no, the particles, we're made of particles, okay? But those particles are kept together by the energy, which is our fluid energy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you... Oh my God, why am I talking about this?
I don't know. You ask the question, they get the answer.
Red, help me out here.
Particles are condensed energy. They aren't portals, they are stargates. Haha. Know what you mean, Neil, says Charlotte.
Anyway, I'm not... Nigel knows what I'm talking about. That's the main thing. Maybe you can describe it on chat.
I don't know. So, you're getting booked up anyway.
Yes. Yes.
At the moment, readings, and we've had a couple of people ring through today and say, I want to book you for some private stuff.
Yep.
And, you know, what is this all in aid of? What happens when you go to these private one-to-ones? Don't be flippant now.
I do one-to-one reading.
See, I told you to be flippant. Now, the reason why I'm asking is because what you're smelling, Roxy? Look at this.
Yeah.
You had it again. Stop it. Basically, the reason why I'm getting that, because we was asked if you went to a house to do a general, an open reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or whether you would do a one-to-one reading. Now, there's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay? Don't just say, yep, tell me.
Oh, you want to know the difference?
Yes.
You just told me there is a difference.
Yes, you told me there is a difference. Tell us the difference.
if I was to do, I mean, what they were talking about is, well, does he do stand up? No, I don't do comedy.
Platform.
Not well, I do now and again. But if I was to do a group reading, then it wouldn't be as personal as what it would be as a one-to-one.
No.
Because obviously there's certain things that I couldn't talk about in front of other people, which is personal things. Okay.
Yeah, I did wonder what he was sharing on that. I'll be honest with you.
Anyway,
well, that
so
a
one-to-one.
That was a young girl that's gone missing.
A one-to-one reading is behind closed doors, and it is like going to see the doctor. Nothing is shared after that reading unless they wish to share it with friends or whatever.
So you are a consultant?
In a way, yes.
I see.
Yeah.
So, but let me see. Right, just to alliterate on what Steve was going on about, there is a young girl that's gone missing of 19 years of age in the Farnworth area. Went missing on April the 2nd. And there is a picture on on Facebook.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'll put it into the Katie. I'll put it on my timeline as well. So if anyone sees her, please contact the police. So
the young lady does have learning difficulties.
Right. Okay.
Which, may explain to an extent the way she looks.
Okay.
So
apparently she went missing on the 2nd of April.
Okay.
Which was yesterday.
So, but anyway, Glenn thanked us in the thing about being on the radio. Said thank you for your time, so that's no problem. Thank you for yours. Okay, so how do you feel about EVPs and all the other gadgetry stuff?
Yeah. Was it? Hang on. Was it as good as Neil's, Andy?
I beg your pardon.
He said he got a free reading.
He got a free reading in one of those live psychic chat rooms today. Was it as good as Neil's last week?
I didn't do a reading.
You did. You did.
I did not do a reading.
What did you do?
I gave him an answer to something that he was asking.
I
didn't do a reading. That wasn't.
They said similar stuff. There you go.
But it wasn't a reading that I did.
No.
I don't do readings over the phone.
No.
I don't do readings over the internet.
Okay.
He wanted an answer to a question, and that's
right.
what
Okay.
I did.
Right.
So why later didn't after that you went? I don't believe I did a reading on the phone.
And he said,
Sure.
Either way, you impressed him,
I don't.
or something
I don't
impressed
do readings
him.
on the phone, or
Either way, you impressed him. Right, Charlotte says, set up a ghost cam software on PC, but I haven't used it yet. Are there these programs any good? When it comes to this sort of stuff, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean,
as a medium's opinion,
technology. I mean, yeah, I'm all for technology.
Yeah,
okay, like EVPs. And stuff, and the camera work and
yeah.
So it's always a good thing to have around as a backup. It might pick things up that as a medium we're not picking up, or we might pick things up and the camera or EVP might pick that up as a backup to what we're picking up. Okay. So yeah, it's always good to have this technology around. But there's certain things that I don't particularly believe in because it's too manipulative. It can be manipulated by oneself. So there are things there that I wouldn't necessarily believe in. Right.
Okay. Well, we're going to have a quick break and for about 1.5 minutes. This came out today, so I don't know whether any of you are planning on seeing it or not. I know it's been in America since February, I think.
Yeah. What's it actually called?
It's called Dark Skies. So I'm going to just give Neil a bit of a break while you're thinking about some questions, and I'll see you after this.
Talk radio.
Yeah, welcome back.
You hear us, we hear you.
So, Neil's just gone for a quick break, and
I think he's going to get coffee.
Yeah. So we're back again, ladies and gentlemen. We've been having an interesting talk, talking to Neil about all sorts of things. So don't forget, if you've got any more questions, that was a clip we've just played of Dark Skies. I don't know whether it's to do with the series or not because I haven't actually seen the series, but hopefully it will be good and it will make its way around the country. So I don't know what the Americans thought of it.
Yeah,
but,
and he said it actually looks similar to the series.
Yeah. So But as I say, it said it came out today, apparently, 3rd of April. So, I'll talk about the 3rd of April, Steve. It's a very special day today. Well, sort of a special day. It's our first special day.
It is our first special day.
Yeah, we've been actually together today 24 years.
Yes. It's
a long time, isn't it?
For the risk of people laughing. This was the day that I asked you to be my girl.
Yes.
And that's exactly the way I said it.
Yeah. Will you be my girl? Bless him.
24 years ago today.
So
Isn't that lovely?
I know.
It is actually.
He said, he said, will you be my girl?
So when did you get released, Steve?
He don't. He married me again.
I don't know when I did it again, didn't I?
Yep. So 27th and 28th is our double anniversary at the end of the year.
That quiet.
I know. Well, it's only the day you asked me out. It's
You didn't
not.
tell me today, did you?
No, I'm telling you now.
No.
It's our proper anniversary at the end of the month.
Our anniversary is at the end of the month. 28th the first time, 27th of the second time. When we did
26th is a social night.
Night before.
It wasn't meant to have been that way.
Isn't the 25th social night, yeah?
No.
Well, I'll see you the following night.
No, it's not. April the 20. Oh yeah, 25th.
25th.
Sorry, 25th. So
I'll
yes.
see you the following evening anyway.
Yes, you will do. Why the following? Yes, you will. Yes, on the 26th. So I'll see you on the 25th, the 26th.
Yeah.
Maybe the 27th. I don't know. You've been married twice. Yeah, well, basically, we got married and then we renewed our vows. That's what we did. And, didn't we, Steve? Back in 2007. So, but yes, very good. So.
Simply Joe says, you said that just as I ditched my bloke.
I've been married twice as well.
Okay, how did you meet? Oh God,
Can't remember the
it's not
anniversary
exactly
of my
parent.
divorce.
Well, I'll tell you what. I suppose it could be a fate thing, couldn't it?
Yes, probably could be.
Right? Shall I tell them?
We were both married to.
Let me start from the beginning.
People.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you how much of a fate it could be if you want to look at it as fate. A garden fate, well, more or less. We were both brought up by our grandparents. Yeah.
Yes.
Or rather, my grandmother. And depending where we are in the year, sometimes I'm 3 years younger than you, sometimes I'm 4 years younger than you, yeah?
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it? Both our mothers are Pisces.
Yep.
Okay, and there's 4 years difference.
4 years difference.
Okay. So we actually met a long, long time ago in 1986. It's quite funny, actually. I was moved to Peterborough, and I used to live on this residential site park thing. Wait, and sorry, dog was doing something then, and
not nasty.
and basically there was a telephone box that just happened to be near his apartment, sort of thing, and he used to hear this person crying when I was in bed, and one particular day he was coming down the driveway. And this person wouldn't move out your way, would they?
No, she was walking in front of me with a long leather coat and wouldn't move, even though I bibbed.
Yes. So I thought, well, I'm not moving. So
anyway,
that was me, apparently. Well, anyway, so it was me. But anyway, a few years later, I moved back to Peterborough with my husband. And we got pally, didn't we, with you and your wife?
Yes.
And then I split up from my husband. I came back a year later. He was free. I was still free. And then we got together. And I think it was meant to be, sort of thing. And we've been together ever since.
Yes, with we are actually the only people I know that can spend 24/7 with each other. Yeah,
work together.
Everybody else is arguing and going out on their own.
Yeah, and so it sounds to me as though that was fate. So both been married before, but not to each other. Yes, correct. And both been married twice to each other. One was a renewal. So, but yeah, it was.
Yeah. You could say there was an element of fate in there.
Yeah, and we both like the same music. Yes. Sort of thing. No kids. Guys, he wants to know Well, we have a son, yes.
Yeah, he lives in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And he has his own paranormal group.
Yes.
Lanarkshire Paranormal.
So I don't want to go any further down that route on the subject of kids, to be honest with you. But yes, we do have a son. Okay, so if you don't mind. but yeah. Are you married, Andy? Yeah. What's your story?
Yeah, just turn around.
Theresa May will let anyone in. Who's Theresa May? Oh, it's not who I think it is
Yeah.
it? Funny enough, I found out recently, because I started talking to my ex-husband again, that Theresa May is actually his cousin's wife. So that was quite interesting. So anyway, that's fate, which is all part of paranormal.
Do you believe in fate, Neil?
Do you believe in fate?
Yeah, I believe in fate.
Do you?
Yeah.
In what respect? Anything fate happened to you? Fate, apart from the fact that you bent over and because of the screwdriver job, that was probably fate. Will you stop that,
Well,
dog?
From what I'm led to believe is we're all given a path that we must follow, which is a basic path. Regardless of what we do, we have to follow that path. But along the way, we're given certain obstacles, and certain obstacles are brought down to test us, and we can divert away from that path, but we're always brought back to the same place. And I think, along that way, there are certain things of fate that happen, to put us in the right place.
So you believe, although our lives, for all intents and purposes, are mapped out, as far as the end game, it's basically up to us how we get to that end game.
It's our own choices of how hard or easy that path is to walk. Okay, and it's how we deal with those obstacles, the choices we make. We can divert away from the path, but we're always brought back. We have this sort of the old sort of wheel of fortune that we talk about that comes around every 3 to 4 years. Bringing decisions and opportunities and things like that.
Yes, which is actually happened to us.
Oh, it hasn't.
This year it's come back again.
Yeah.
So so from that point of view, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I suppose. Why is this 4-year thing? Because, like you say, it has happened to us. We had
and why 4 years?
Yeah.
It's just rule of spirit. It's every 3 to 4 years. That's how they work.
Oh, I see.
I hate it when they do that. No explanation. That's just the way it is, lad.
I'll give you an example. Okay. Oh God. Let me think. Come on, help me, Red. If we're given a certain opportunity that we either take or we don't take, and it all goes wrong because we took the wrong choice or made the wrong choice or we've made it hard for ourselves, that 3 to 4 years gives us a chance to get over that wrong decision. Okay.
But it also gives us a chance to learn.
Gives us a chance to learn as well. So you learn. Well, you learn from that anyway because it's a mistake. So you learn from your mistakes, and it's the mistakes that you learn from. Okay. So it's not the things that go well that you learn from. It's the things that go wrong that you learn from.
I see.
Okay. So that 3 to 4 years repetitiveness is there to enable us to get through. That thing that's either gone wrong or bad for us. So it's a bit like...
and I assume that would make us a stronger person as well.
It's a bit like the grieving process. They say the grieving process takes 3 to 4 years for you to get over before you're able to move on, which is right. Because I've been through it myself. So that's just one example. That's the reason why it's done that.
Right, Chris L. Now, if you say that saying again, I'm going to slap you. Chris L. would like to know, what about the old karma?
Yes. Do you want me to say?
No. Go on.
Karma is a bitch, but she's a very good friend of mine. She has done a lot of work for me in the past, to put it that way.
So what is it about this karma?
If you do bad to people, it will come back to you.
Yeah.
Tenfold, and I've seen that happen. I've had it done to me.
I think it's just the law of averages on that respect, to be honest with you.
It teaches us a lesson not to do it again.
Yeah.
You've got to have certain rules put in place to, if you're messing around with certain things you shouldn't be messing around with, or doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, then you will fall on your backside at some stage.
Well, this is it.
Yeah, Deb says karma's the circle of life.
It is.
Of course it is.
So,
Okay.
Simply Joe's going to have to go to bed. She's got hot doc tomorrow.
Lightweight.
Oh, sorry, she got the hot doc tomorrow. Wish me luck and us have 2 major things happening tomorrow. Well, yeah, all the best of luck.
Yeah, good
with
luck
them.
there, Joe. Good
Okay.
night, Joe.
Good night, Joe. We won't be
Night,
long
Joe.
before we're going anyway. So you won't be missing much. Not if there's no more questions coming through. Or anyone ringing. So you've
Yes, surprise us. Ring us up.
I know. It would be paranormal if they did.
Wouldn't it?
It would. It would be paranormal. So, went to see that in December was brilliant. I saw something in December. Oh, Lion King, Circle of Life. Okay. You need to understand that it's karma that keeps teaching you the lessons. So, well, if you've got lots of questions, Andy,
Please ask.
use your fingers, let them do the walking, give us a call, or type it.
Yeah. So, if you make all the right decisions along the way, to the end, that basically means you haven't learned anything.
You've had a perfect life.
You haven't learned nothing.
You've
So
had no downfall.
So you got to come back and start again
you have got to come back to learn those lessons. Yeah.
because you didn't have.
Yeah.
Because you made the right choices.
It's like when they put an obstacle in front of you. You know, if that obstacle is meant to be climbed over, but instead we go round it or under it, then that again will reappear in the next 3 to 4 years for us to do properly. And until we get that obstacle right, it will keep presenting itself.
Right, Andy says, is karma the same for everyone in terms of what's good and bad?
Same general rule. Yeah, it's the same rule for everybody, regardless.
If you give, you'll receive,
If you give,
basically.
you receive, to every.
Yeah.
But isn't good and bad a matter of perception from person to person?
Well, yeah, everybody's got a different view of good and bad, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, if I smack you in the mouth because I think you deserve it, that to me isn't bad, but to you it is.
Yeah.
So.
Is my dream coming true? I don't know about it yet.
I heard enough.
I don't think me and you would ever get to the stage where
yeah, but you know what I mean.
I totally understand with what you're saying, but there's got to be a certain point into what you can do. I mean, that would be classed as, what would that be classed as? It's an assault.
It's an assault.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, so bad on you because you just assaulted somebody.
Yeah.
What you should do is rise above it.
Yeah.
You know.
So whether I think you deserve it or not, you just don't do it.
Yeah. You know.
So
then I won't learn nothing.
He said, put some axe in that.
What you've learned is that you're a better person than that person.
And he said, put some axe in some cultures. Yes, Steve's making my point. And Charlotte said, you've got to pay it forward. But Reiki Dev says you can cancel karma out. How can you do that?
Well, if you don't do anything bad, then karma's got nothing for you.
Not necessarily, I don't think.
It's what other people do to you that makes karma work, not what you do if you're not doing anybody any harm. Because surely, surely that's the way karma works.
We've had a very, very deep night tonight, haven't we?
Oh, we have.
Just bear with me a second. Let me ask this question.
He says by not creating it in the first place.
Yeah, by not creating it. This is it.
You create your own karma, you know?
Yeah.
Which you do. You know, karma does not come back on you unless you create it in the first place.
Is this karma a bad thing? This is not the karma. Karma means if somebody hurts you, you get it back, or if you do something to somebody else.
Good or bad karma.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so if you do a good deed, you'll have a good deed done back for you. You know, so karma works in both ways.
It sounds like a bit like psychic tit for tat.
It is. So every positive reaction there is. I can't remember the saying.
Well, for every positive,
let's go back to science.
Well, normally for every positive, there's a negative.
Well, to every positive reaction, there's an equal negative reaction, or something like that. I forgot what the saying is, but you know, let's look at the Scientology of it.
I'm not going to Scientology. I'm not talking about Tom Cruise. I'm sorry.
No.
It's every reaction's got to have an opposite reaction. Put it that way. And that's how it works. That's the law of physics. That's the law of spirit. That's how spirit works. You know? And that's where karma comes from. You know, you can have good karma, you can have bad
I see.
So, does karma just come from doing, or does it come from
It
thinking?
can come back from anything.
No, what I mean is, for instance,
If I wished
if
something on somebody,
if I think to myself, I wish I could just
Yeah.
hit that git, and I don't do it.
Yeah.
Is that still giving me bad karma because I thought it, or wanted to do it, even though I didn't?
no, because you didn't do it.
What are you loving, Chris?
It could be from if I wished
Oh, the
something
film,
on
that's
somebody,
right.
and it happened.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it would come back on you because it's fulfilled. You know.
Right.
That's not true.
Confucius say, yeah,
Yeah.
before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Which is a bit like karma, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not exactly saying that, you know.
He once said actually, man with hole in pocket feel cocky all day as well.
Hey, no, keep
What?
the party clean. Right, okay. Andy says, for example, in our society, we find the idea of, this is not a nice one, of killing a dog to eat would be seen as negative, bad karma. But it's okay in other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is not true in the subatomic level, because can come after effects at the quantum level. Effects have no cause.
See, now we're going back to quantum physics.
We are.
You know,
Well,
totally out of my league. You know? But if you look at us as the human race, we kill animals to eat because it's the food chain.
Mm.
We've got to live, we've got to survive, we've got to feed ourselves, whether that's a dog, a cat, a cow, a lamb, you know, whatever. It's you know, does a shark have to repent because it's just ate a diver maybe, or
Right.
another dolphin or something?
well, that's,
you know?
that's in its
I've got to go. How
It's
far
in
back
its
have I got to go, Andy? Got to read Charlotte's first. It says, "Pay it forward. Not just good about good and bad. It's about experiences too. For every action, there is an equal or opposite action." Isaac Newton. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't need to eat meat, says Andy.
And who told you that, Andy? We're actually
Well, we don't.
We're actually omnivores, so we can eat both.
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't. I mean, as you know, I go to the gym quite a lot, and sort of raise a goal where I am quite a powerful guy. Okay. If I didn't eat meat, I couldn't get to the level where I was.
No.
Okay. If we don't need to eat meat,
Mm-hmm.
then why are we an omnivore? Okay. We did actually start out as we did actually go through one period as that we were carnivores.
Yes.
Okay.
Dinosaurs and whatever.
Yeah.
Killing them.
Before that, we were fish.
Mm.
You know, so it's how we move on. I mean, we don't have to eat meat. Okay. But on the other hand, we don't need to eat vegetables neither.
Yeah. And on that thing, there was a thing that some scientists somewhere have actually proved that vegetables actually feel pain. They have a consciousness.
Well, they're a living form. You know, they do live. You know, it's like it's like a tree. Okay?
So how does that work with vegetarians?
Well, it's like,
because apparently they don't eat meat partly because of the killing. So what are they doing to every vegetable?
well, exactly.
It makes me think about that thing I saw on Facebook, but that's not paranormal, so I can't really ask you about that.
Anything that's living,
Because it's about religion.
anything that's living will have that energy source going through them, that form of energy going through them.
Yeah.
So there is some sort of, there has to be some sort of pain level somewhere because they are a living thing.
Yeah, Andy
No,
said
no.
eating meat can be seen as being a bad karma. We don't have the right teeth. Our incisors are too small. Chris Sale says, karma, no need for revenge, just sit back and wait. Those who hurt you will eventually screw up themselves, and if you're lucky, God will let you watch. Going back, Reiki Deb said the pendulum swings in favour of one, it eventually swings back in favour of its opposite, and thus the balance of the universe is maintained. That's quite
Right.
Deep,
Very
isn't it?
deep.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
I know you're not a religious person and you don't particularly believe in religions as such, but you do have faith. You do have a belief.
Yes.
I do have a
which,
belief.
in a way, is how religions start.
Yes.
So, in an obscure way, you do believe in religion.
No, because it's not. My religion is my self-religion. Put it that way. Okay, so it's not. It can't be classed as a religion because it's my own belief as a person, and I don't put that belief on anybody. Okay, if somebody asks me a question, I'll give them the answer, but I will always say, do what you want to do with that answer. I'm not pushing it on you. You know, if you want to believe it, believe it. If you don't, don't. You know, that's the way it is. You know. So I do have a belief system,
Which at the end of the day is the only difference between your belief system
I don't preach it.
and a religion.
I don't preach it, and I don't form groups of people to all believe in the same thing. You know, and that's it. It's not me.
This is coming off the paranormal subject, I must admit.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Why?
Because the paranormal, to a large extent, is all down to our belief and what we believe.
Well, yeah, I
don't.
suppose so, yeah.
I mean, Neil believes in an afterlife. He believes in a force of some sort that created everything in some way. Whether that be God as in religion or Great Spirit or just an energy. It's still, it all amounts to the same thing. It's just it's not yours in particular, but it's just people's cockeyed way of looking at it. We all have our own little ways of being comfortable with the way the world came to part and how that works.
I believe in the Big Bang Theory.
I'm not going there.
Okay.
He saw it at the gas station.
If we want to talk about physics and
You saw it at the gas station, the Big Bang Theory.
I believe in the Big Bang Theory. I've always believed in the Big Bang Theory.
You saw it at the gas station.
I believe that we evolved. I don't believe that we were made.
Well, one thing I want to ask you, right? One thing I want to ask you. We were talking about this off camera, so to speak, off mic, where you've been in accidents where it's all slowed down in the slow motion.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think that is a kind of protection for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about one this afternoon. Tuesday, was it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Where I was in a quite a nasty car crash.
Yeah.
And it was a full frontal collision. And everything slowed down. And to me, it slowed down for minutes, but it wasn't. It was seconds.
Yeah.
And it was literally 2, maybe 3 seconds. But I could actually see the dust particles coming off the dashboard of the car in very slow motion. It was almost like a film had been slowed down. And it almost gave me enough time to move my feet to a position where I wouldn't have broke my legs.
Wow.
And I've had that happen quite a few times.
That's got to be somebody looking after you. You know. Charlotte says, I've had that in a car crash too. Oh, sorry, let me go back. Lee, it happened to me. I had that happen when I nearly drowned, said Reiki Debs. Charlotte said, I had that in a car crash too, Lee. Everything slowed down like you explained. I think he meant Neil, but everything like you just explained. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It really is weird. So, well, anyway, let's let everybody know what's happening next week.
What was that? I knew a spirit that loved pork pie.
Yeah, I don't really want to go there. That's why I didn't read it. So, but let me just tell you what's coming on next week. I think you're going to like this.
Coming soon.
Yeah, well, next week on the show, just to let you know, we have Todd Bates. I don't know whether Doc Savage is still there. He might have heard of this guy. He's an old colleague of ours. Well, I say colleague. Years and years ago, in another life. And he used to run a radio show in America, and it was called Haunted Voices. And he's coming on the show, and he's going to be talking about EVPs. And He's also going to be talking about some of the past EVP work that he's done, and his work at the Sally House in Atkinson, Kansas, along with other past investigations. You just ask the questions, and he'll do his best to answer them all. So if you fancy that, as I say, he's a lovely guy. As I say,
Andy's actually said that he remembers him well. He's been on the show.
Yeah. So he says, chances are you'll find him in a mysterious abandoned home. Walls yellowed by age and doors teetering precariously on their hinges. Maybe a murder occurred, or perhaps a fire. Whatever the case, Todd Bates is on the scene for a singular task, listening for voices of the dead. So he's going to be talking about EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, and what he's captured. So that should be interesting. So hopefully you'll tune in for that. What do you think of that then?
Can I just ask a quick question of Neil? Do you think, we've got car crashes and drowning.
Yeah.
Do you think it's at the point where we actually give in and stop fighting, that we actually give ourselves over to spirit to actually be able to help us to come back? Because all the time we're fighting, it's a conscious thing.
There has to be a moment between life and death where we actually get to the point where we're about to cross over, or we cross over. So there has to be that change in time for us, for us to move on to the spirit world, or for us to come close to that. Usually with people who are dying, that's what we call preparation. Okay, when we're in something like a car crash, or like Debs has said, she was drowning, when she thought she was going to take her last breath, or she had her last breath. I think that time has been slowed down to either avert death, so it gives us a chance in that what we think is a long time. It's not, it's a very short time, but it just gives us a chance to avert that moment.
Yeah, the reason I ask it is because it always seems to be, we always seem to get to that point where we go, that's it, I've had it here. So it's kind of like you've just given up and accepted that it's coming.
Yeah.
And then for some inexplicable reason, like you, when you got stuck in that canoe, you thought, this is it, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this bloke just turns the canoe over and pulls you out.
Yeah.
You'd given up. You'd accepted the point.
I actually felt the strain
that this was going to be
in my lungs, and I was at the point where the strain was that painful that I was just about to give up and just let the whole breath out, and that was it, me gone.
Yeah,
and it was at that point where the canoe was turned over, and nice deep breath in. That's kind of where I was going. Yeah,
we all seem to get to that point where we go, well, right, this is it.
The car crash was different. I wouldn't have died in that car crash, but I would have had nasty leg breaks.
Yeah.
If I hadn't moved in that couple of split seconds, So again, it can be probably avert death, or it could avert nasty injuries that aren't supposed to happen to us. I just think that time has been slowed down for purpose, for us to either move out of the way or to do something that we wouldn't be able to do if it was kept in real time.
Deb said that she didn't hear anything either, and it all went quiet.
Yeah,
and
it
yet,
does.
There was children around screaming.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it's like. At that point, it's a deadly silence, and that's why they call it deadly silence. It's just, everything is muted.
Like someone turned the volume off.
Yeah, absolutely muted, and that's why they call it a deadly silence, because that's what it's like. No noise whatsoever.
The eye of the storm.
What do you think is happening when these people actually literally walk away from a bad crash?
Well, walk away from death, as they say.
Yeah. What do you think to this?
Well,
I think somebody's watching them.
I've done it myself.
Yeah.
And we've answered that question, haven't we?
Well, yeah, no, it's just that people are saying about it, it's like with Reiki Deb, she says children were screaming around her.
Yeah.
But it was, it was just weird. It's weird what can happen. Literally. didn't you, Bree?
This is even. She said she was saved by a woman on a surfboard, but when she turned around to thank her, she'd gone. So, did that woman actually exist in the physical plane?
It could have been the spirit of a lady who could have drowned there herself on a surfboard.
Because we've heard this quite often over the years that of people actually. Well, most of the time they seem to call them angels.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one that was well known. Is well known about somebody getting run over, and this woman just seemed to appear out from nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody saw where she came from.
Yeah.
But she knew exactly what to do to save that person's life, and when it was done, she'd gone.
You could be right. I mean, it happened to me when I was in the vicious attack I had. I mean, I was left for dead.
Yeah.
And I was propped up against the wheel of my car, basically bleeding to death. Now, I thought I was conscious, and I seen a guy holding my shoulders, keeping me propped up, talking to me, and the only way I can describe him was like Father Christmas, or a thinner version of Father Christmas, and he had piercing eyes, and we both had eye contact all the way through. When the police had turned up, and the ambulance and everything else, and there was absolutely no one around that description that had been anywhere near me.
So would you say that these are actually angels?
And even on the CCTV footage,
no one there.
There was no one there.
So,
and it was me. It was me myself that actually propped myself against the car wheel.
Andy is actually surprised that you actually call them angels.
Who, me or
Neil?
I didn't.
I did.
Oh.
It was me that mentioned it.
So before you start that one, Andy, think twice.
But would you agree with that description?
What like
an angel?
Well, people call them guardian angels, don't they? You know, because that's the way that they would see them. But yeah, we do have people up there who will protect us and keep us safe and
our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Which you could class maybe as a guardian angel, what people perceive as a guardian angel.
But could that also be your guide and not an angel?
It could be your guide.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
Well, I think that's brought us to the end of the show. So, are you with us? Yeah. Are you with us next week?
I was getting to enjoy that.
You got to get up early.
You started typing one thing and changed my mind.
So, are you coming in next week? You're coming in the week after. I know you are.
Yes.
We're going to have livestock coming in the week after next.
Okay.
Who's going to be recording us, and we're going to be talking to them. We're also going to be talking to Osman about his belief of the jinn and the multicultural side of spirits. So that would be good.
And we'll be moving everything downstairs.
That will be downstairs.
So it's kind of.
So that was I think it's the 17th, is it? Yes.
So it would be literally. We see you.
Yeah.
Just to answer Andy on that one, no, I don't call them angels.
So, as I say, until next time, thank you very much for being with us, and until then, keep the paranormal friendly. Good night and God bless.
Good night, everyone.
Every Wednesday night. This is where it's at.
Good night. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.